expected and how they were going to make the pass back over for it. Russia coming into the circle late as well. New circle pots directly centered up on a ton of teams. Korea and Russia are going to have to figure out how they want to handle this, as again, these are the guys at the top of the leaderboard. They're sitting out trying to be passive so that way they can get a little bit more survival, but with these circle shrinks going the way that they're going, it's going to make it very hard for them to find any home.
Neither team wants to make a mistake here. That's why you see our top two teams being very cautious entering this circle. A lot of the other teams here playing for prize money, so they're trying to get kills and points, being aggressive. We're going to see some fighting here, as we saw with Thailand pushing into Brazil. Brazil and China fighting early on. They want to try to secure higher positions.
So Russia on the move. They're probably going to commit to staying edge. Both these teams are going to be very quiet for right now. Very comfortable with what's going on. You can see Canada having a couple of shots thrown back their way. As Pome is also going to follow it up with a grenade, but I think we can see them. Canada should be safe where they're at right now, depending on the bounce, but it's going to go on the outside. Just do a little bit of damage, scare the door, blow it back inside there, but should be okay.
I thought that one might bounce through the door there. Doesn't quite get it. Moody, though, gets a nice rip on the ribbox.
Look at that. Moody just follows it up. Argentina's kind of regretting being a little bit aggressive now as they're making their way back up that hill. Do lose one member for it. So Argentina is going to have the high ground based off of it, but Canada is running a 2-2 split, so could collapse back up onto this angle.
Another knock here for Maluk from Canada. These are big, big points if they can secure this. The smoke does come down as they're trying to get two sills in. We'll see if they can get this res off. You can see K-Mine trying to position to prevent this, but now Russia's going to be pushing in onto UK.
Are they going to try to do this? No, don't spin your teammate's car. Uba's just going to pull back away from this. Are we going to see them push back over towards UK? Russia knows that they need points. Remember, just 2 points behind right now. They need anything they can get, and it looks like they might be looking back over towards Team UK. There's 2 members right there. There's your points you need, boys.
Yeah, it's Team UK with a 2-2 split here across a large area. They've got those yellow houses that are the south of Yasnaya as well. We'll see if Russia will take advantage of that odd man situation as they push forward. A battle going on here between Chinese Taipei and Japan. 2 members of Japan are down there.
Lots of members of Japan down inside that position, but we're coming back over here with Russia still on the hunt looking for Team UK. You can see they jump inside the UAZ, but this is going to be a lot of bullets. That's 2 points, making its way over towards Russia. That's tying it up.
Too little, too late there for the UK. They weren't able to make it out in time, and Russia now is tied with Korea in the standings.
Russia should be fine, should be able to get this res off. Plenty of smokes. Angle should be clear on the backside of this. They also have themselves a building that they can make a play off of. The other 2 members of Team UK looking back on the side of this. And you know Korea is paying attention to the kill feed right now. Every single time they see a Russian get a kill, they know that they need to step it up and get something themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Korea doing something really interesting here. Inonix way up on the northern part of the circle. Pio way on the eastern part. Loki and Aqua 5 together. This is their strategy. Pio and Inonix are allowed to roam and do what they want. Loki and Aqua 5 are kind of their brute force, their blunt object they use to breach situations they want to get into.
Finland losing Jimpty in a side skirmish, but naturally we're going to try to stay as connected to the guys at the top of the leaderboard as we can. No disrespect to Finland right now, but they're kind of freeland, so really we're not going to be watching them too much.
They usually like to say Winland, but today in this tournament it has not been their tournament for them. Back over to Russia here, who has secured this compound, and they are going to hold on to that as we wait to see where our second circle will go.
All right, and here we go. Just another center up. Korea does have a little bit of foothold inside of this. Naturally, you can see it looks like just Argentina's going to have to make their push off to one side of it. So now, really, we do have Thailand and Brazil. Remember, we saw them a while ago. They're right in the middle of the circle.
Yeah, this could be really interesting. It looks like it might start to center around that compound that Thailand has opted to push into early on. They haven't tried to breach and push Brazil out of there yet. They're happy to stay on that southeastern side of it. Maybe they might think about trying to push them out at some point, but Thailand's also kind of, I think, a little bit battered today psychologically. They just got beat up by Russia.
I mean, Russia has had an absolutely explosive day. It feels like they're kind of beating up on everybody. Oddly enough, based off of rotations, we see Russia and Korea on opposite parts on the circle on a regular basis, and that's what's bringing up a lot of these kills. Iroh's looking back down towards the Argentinians right now, seeing if he can find any sight lines, but it's so hard at this angle inside of this building, looking into that forest that's popped up. you just don't really have any clear way to actually get anybody until they're right on top of you.
Yeah, there's not much sight lines coming out of there. Over to Inonix here, who is outside the circle, but he's making his way in, just trying to get all the information he can up on this hill for the rest of his team who's out in front of him. Just taking out some windows there, maybe seeing if he can get lucky with a shot or two. Here are the other 3 members who are posted up on the northern end of the circle.
Australia running a 2-2 split, as well as Vietnam. You can see Argentina just towards the north of Turkey. Meanwhile, surrounding entirety of Finland right now. Off to the side of that, you've got Thailand and the Brazilians, or I should say, yeah, 2 Brazilians over there. They're just kind of stacked up on top of each other. So Korea now on the move, probably just going to firmly regroup. Towards the north, it's kind of quiet right now just because of the way that the spacing and the terrain plays into it. You can take a couple of pot shots back and forth, but unless you just choose to breach inside of that, well, I say this, Japan's just going to go ahead and get a nice spray, but it's going to be a follow-up coming out from Duckmans to eliminate Japan.
Wow, Duckmans gets the headshot. Depp does do some damage here to Canada. That is crucial here. That might actually put Canada in danger of not being able to compete for the championship.
So now Korea's firmly regrouped at this stage. Again, we keep talking about it. One mistake. There is so much pressure on these players right now. It has got to be so intense. Every single time you hear the audience just erupt in cheers, this place shakes with how excited these guys get, and that's got to add that next level. Just going, okay, I have to make sure I hold this together. Meanwhile, Moody's coming over here and just picking up loot from 2 different people. It's like, thanks, teammate. I appreciate everything you collected for me.
It's been so exciting, and Japan does end up going down there, but Japan with 2 chicken dinners here in this tournament. They played very, very well. This is an up-and-coming region that continues to surprise on the international stage.
I mean, Japan has been developing a very nice region for quite a while. Naturally, if you guys are enjoying this, make sure you tune into all of the regions, anything that you want to support inside the area. Naturally, each one of the teams you see here is competing in some form or fashion in the PUBG official leagues. So now here we go. Where's the circle going to go? Shift back over towards the east, where all of the violence and mayhem has been at. So with this, Russia, Korea, Australia, all going to have to move.
Right, the 2 big teams are outside of this circle. They're going to have to play the edge game. Korea might have to try to find a way in through Vietnam, potentially, depending on how they rotate. Russia, on the other hand, maybe if they go south here, they might bump into the U.S.
U.S., I love you right now, but just get away from this spot. This is very, very dangerous depending on how they go through with this. So now based off of their positioning, Russia is still just trying to get a little bit more information. Korea still on the hunt, trying to find some kills at very long range, but hasn't necessarily wanted to make the push in yet. Both those teams still playing very passive and very controlled.
Well, I think they're probably smartly playing to their strong suit. They're insane snipers. Pio and Inonix are absolute monsters with sniper rifles. They're great at long range. They can land shots at absurd distances.
All right, well, here comes the push coming out from the Russians. There's not a lot of territory that's going to be safe at this stage. Moody is just kind of posted up back over here by himself. Might actually spot out this rotation. He's going to actually hop into a motorcycle himself and ride along with them. So it's a full-on motorcycle gang just cutting across this. USA does get a sightline back over towards Russia, hitting a couple of shots back over to it. Got to be very careful. Russia loses 1 member inside of their rotation.
Bahawaka with the great pick onto Kemba there. Let's see if Russia can find a way to get him. He's got that rock there. Bahawaka now taking some shots from the Russian team.
Look at this. Russia's trying to get some retaliation damage back over towards it. USA just playing right along the edge of the circle. Kimba's just crawling. He's going to get taken out. So there we go. Officially down to 3. Russia's just trying to spot out, trying to get the kills back over towards it. So does get one of their own.
Yeah, another couple points here possibly coming in for Russia as they post up in this battle with the U.S. You can see Valiate does get confirmed there. Now Korea, in the meantime, has made their way north, back over to the battle. Aduzi trying to land some shots onto the USA members. Bahawaka.
Motorcycle, is he going for a push onto this? I was going to say that's going to be a little bit too risky. Pio goes down in exchange with the UK right now. That could be a big influencer. We talk about it. This is the big guy. Oh my God, Michael is going to take out Pio real early.
Wow, that is disaster for South Korea. You can't lose your best player like that. Pio overstepping his bounds and gets taken out.
USA's Bahawaka just trying to survive right now. Russia's just wanting every point that they can muster. Looking back on the other side of this, Moody just hears everything happen and is like, I don't think I want to participate in any of this. Sharky goes down as well. That's going to make it even worse. Oh no, going to go ahead and flush out Drassel. So that's just more and more points stacking up for Russia.
Even losing a member early here for Russia, they've already picked up 4 big kills. The U.S. was able to get one, but they can't follow up on it. It's Bahawaka. Sharky is down here. He is the last one standing. Bahawaka taking a lot of damage. Now Moody getting in on this, hitting up Uba.
Taking a couple of shots on the outside as Uba was playing a little bit aggressive. He's going to go down. Both star players for both the top two teams have gone down very early inside of this game.
Wow, what a moment here. Great shooting by Moody, playing the spoiler for Russia, who are just down to a doozy, and Seiya left.
Here's the big thing. Russia's been very active in the early game. They've been picking up these kills as they move through. That could be a huge factor. They have to be so cautious at this point. New Shrink goes in, and we just keep moving further and further into Mansion.
We're going to get a Mansion circle, it looks like here, Matrim. You can see Loki. We're still 3 members strong for Korea. They still have Anonix, one of the best players in this tournament so far. He popped off yesterday. Maybe he'll be the hero here.
The problem with it is where Korea is at. They're inside that forest we were just talking about a second ago. There's not clear sight lines. They need kills right now. They need everything that they can get, unless Russia goes down early. Just 2 members up. Moody could be the hope for Korea right now as Russia is making the push on the side of this. Has to be very cautious. Remember, back over towards heaven earlier, we saw that that's where Thailand was at, where Australia was at. This is the same angle that Russia's pushing back over towards. There's a lot of teams that are going to be making their way into the circle right where Russia's moving to.
Yeah, we'll see if Moody can continue to play spoiler there for Team Canada. Moving over to Thailand, who's in a battle with the last 2 members of the UK. Michael is knocked here, so it's just one left standing. Moody trying to get some shots onto a doozy, only a little bit of damage done.
You can see a doozy's just going to cut it over there. I've heard of Tokyo drift there, but we got some soul drift going on as he just does that slide right off to the side of it. Russia does look like they're going to manage to regroup. Korea does manage to get a couple of shots back over towards this, but the kill's going to go over towards Duckman's. Still holding that angle back over here. So Russia, what are you going to do?
Yeah, Thailand is going to have to abandon heaven here. They're going to have to move down. It's a tricky position to get out of. There's quite a bit of exposed terrain around it.
So now Russia, they still need to make their way forward about another 100 meters. Russia's trying to figure out what they're going to do. Thailand just opts into running straight down the hillside. That's a lot of damage coming out from the Koreans towards him, but I think he manages to survive for just right now. Back behind this, the rest of Thailand is going to come back down towards this rock. Actually, look at that. They're separating out at this stage. They're going full-on Send-It mode, it feels like.
Yeah, they're pushing ahead. They're going to let Minoru patch up here. Seiya trying to find a way to get into the circle, waiting as long as they possibly could, hoping that the other teams will start fighting each other and get distracted.
Russia has to be so cautious on this approach. Loki is just looking back over towards these angles, and you can see this is kind of the problem with where Korea is playing. There's no clear sight lines. People can just bounce back and forth between these trees, and it's so hard. You can maybe get it down, but you have to push to finalize something, and there we go. Aqua 5 realizes, okay, let's stop playing this little peekaboo game. Let me get into a spot where maybe I can get some kills.
Yeah, this position is a bit of a double-edged sword. Yes, you have cover for yourself, but that means there's a lot of places for other teams to hide as well. So trying to get through there can be very, very challenging. Here's Russia trying to find a way into the circle. They have managed to find the western edge.
One thing to note is they're on the backside of Thailand taking a couple of shots. Keep in mind, based off of that angle, they were trying to avoid Korea, so a doozy does manage to get it down. Might be able to flush this out. It depends on how Thailand moves back between this. Minoru's in a bad spot. New circle pops, staying back down towards Mansion. But really, it's about what's happening between Korea, Thailand, and Russia, and who's going to pick up these kills.
Oh, Loki, can you get the flush here? No, a doozy steals it.
Takes it away from him. Korea just cannot get a kill that they so desperately need right now.
Russia is playing heartbreaker here. 7 big kills for them already. 0 so far for Korea, who has also lost Pio.
Korea has to step it up. They have to be aware. They have to know that Russia is just stacking kills at this point. The problem comes into play is, where does Russia go? There's nowhere safe for them, and they know it. They're just playing right along the edge of the circle, trying to go, where do we even move to?
And now Seiya's looking over to try to find Moody, try to maybe get some revenge for those earlier kills that he got. Let's see how this plans out. Now Korea is going to have to push into this circle, and there is a lot of congestion at the northern edge, including a full Vietnam squad.
And Vietnam has been explosive as they make their ways through it. Russia's just looking like they're trying to follow up back behind that, figure out where those kills went over towards. So Russia gonna have to push right back on over towards Turkey. Meanwhile, Korea looking towards Vietnam. This could be a very hazardous fight, as right along this hillside, there's so many little dips and valleys. You can see these guys are so close to each other, haven't realized it. Listening to footsteps is so key. Aqua 5 goes down to the blue zone at this stage of the game. Are you kidding me?
I wonder if that might have been a disconnect there. That might be a real tragedy for Korea. It's Loki and Inonix here, the last two members, and Vietnam is well aware of what is going on.
They're walking into a 2v4. Loki's down. Alex is the last person up. Does manage to get it down on it, but he is the last hope for Korea. Looking back over this angle, he's almost dead, trying to find something out of it, and Korea is down and out.
That is it. Korea is out of contention.
Russia's going for it.
Russia is pushing in onto Thailand here. Shippy trying to defend for Thailand.
Thailand's just holding up the stairs right now. Grenades are starting to pop back over around that angle onto it. Look at this. You can tell Russia knows what's going on. They know they have the kills. They just need to keep accumulating whatever points that they can get at this stage.
Now Russia can play safe and cautious. They are in the leaderboard. They are on top of the leaderboard here. Let's see if they can get it done. Shippy narrowly avoiding disaster there.
But let's be honest, it's Duckmans. We've seen this guy go absolutely nuts. It's going to be real big form with Russians taking a lot of damage. Russia is eliminated in 9th.
In 9th place, so it's going to take an absolute miracle for someone to overtake them. I don't know if there's even enough players alive that Moody could kill everybody or Vietnam could kill everybody to surpass them. Russia looks to be firmly in the driver's seat here.
So Vietnam back over towards the north, still holding down the forested areas. We're going to have to see how everybody makes the moves. Finally moving away from Mansion just a little bit towards those fields, and those fields are so deadly. They are just out and in the open. So Germany's making the plays around that. We do have Chinese Taipei that's holding down a building inside a position as well. Moody, somehow, some way, still alive at this stage of the game.
Moody doing the best he can here to give Canada potential higher position here. I don't think it's going to happen. There's just too much he has to do. It looks like we pretty much have our 1 and 2 solidified as far as we can tell, but you never know. Anything can happen, and Iroh is keeping Moody pinned down.
Moody, you're in a real rough spot there, buddy. I mean, unless you somehow manage to hit like a crazy shot or just manage to drive the hell out of that motorcycle, that rock might be your tombstone.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. He's going to have to make a mad dash now. The good news is he does have a motorcycle, which is the best vehicle for doing that.
I mean, if you just got to get the hell out of Dodge, that's the way to go. Duckman's still on the hunt, looking around. Vietnam now on the move. They've heard a couple of shots, but Levis goes down inside of an exchange. Vietnam still just trying to push up back towards this hillside. Another shot's going to come out, forcing him to drop back down on this angle. He's just spraying the window. But look, Turkey could reposition off the side of this and get a nice third party. Actually, Nim just goes down to a nice grenade from SR.
SR Vietnam trying to get through here. Basil taking a lot of damage as well. Sapao goes, looks like he might go down, but Basil does take down SR here. Sapao down to 1 health.
Narrowly dodging, ducking, weaving through this. Finally, Vietnam goes, okay, that is just not the direction we want to go. It is too dangerous. Sapao back behind this rock. Not inside the safe zone as of yet. A little bit of damage was done back over towards what was looking back on this angle, but should be perfectly fine. You can see it's just getting clustered. 15 people still alive. 6 teams making the move right now, so have to be very careful as how they move around the mansion.
Oh, Sapao landing some nice headshots here. He might be able to get the res onto Basil going, throwing up some smokes, but Germany's coming in on this. Sapao continues to have to push forward.
So Germany has an angle back over towards this. Really, it's a little bitty mini skirmishes that are happening as people get sightlines back and forth. Sapao sees the grenade explode right in front of him. Germany still has 3 members up on the hunt, just trying to find the angle. They have the most control over the circle right now and kind of funneling everybody to stay forced inside of Mansion.
And now the circle has tightened up and Germany controls that southern edge so well. They've got that hill in front of them there for cover. You've still got the members of Chinese Taipei in that house that's in the middle of the circle. So this is looking to be quite an advantageous position for them.
Vietnam's last member crawling around, just seeing maybe if one of these grenades will connect, buy him a little bit more space onto this. Turkey still in an interesting spot, how they're lined up. Chinese Taipei, it's a nice shot back over towards the bow. That's going to go ahead and knock out Vietnam.
Vietnam goes down in 4th place. What a tournament for them. They played so well here on an international stage. They finally got a chance once again to come to one of these events, and they came out big, especially with that first game.
Oh, Leo just has his head ripped off by Iroh there. Turkey has been quietly hanging out right in the middle of Mansion. But look at the push. They know that they got the down. This is the vulnerable time. So just running back up this hillside, throw in the grenades, find the angles for it. Maybe you're going to get something out of it, but you're just trying to stop the reses. Anything that's going off is just going to stall it. So now you can see everybody's just trying to play alongside of this, and everybody from Turkey is using all the utility they've been able to store this entire game.
There are Molotov cocktails coming in here everywhere as Turkey is storming this compound, trying to knock Chinese Taipei out of the best position into this circle. You can see Merrick leading the push here, but no, he goes down to a great grenade by Chaiwei.
It is just so deadly right down inside that garage right now, and you can see Turkey's trying to figure out, is it worth? Do we continue to push up onto this? Meanwhile, Germany's like, let's just position for the following bloodbath. We'll just let you guys fight it out and then just rip you apart afterwards.
Yeah, Chris has got that M249. Let's see if he can rip some faces with it. He's posted up. He's hearing all this battle going on as Sixmo has stayed behind to cover his teammates from that compound.
All right, so it looks like a little bit of a retreat is coming out from Turkey. Now aware where it's Chris is at. He's going to go down to a nice grenade, just dropped right at his feet. So now Germany realizes, okay, their outside push is in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be a very risky res to try to go for from anybody on Germany. They know that's a vulnerable spot. Grenades are starting to rain down next to them as well. Germany's just trying to go for these repositions, but with the defense that came up of the building, that forced Turkey back down on a different angle.
Yeah, with Chris losing that left flank here, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Germany to push up. Meanwhile, the battle still continues to rage here between Turkey and Chinese Taipei. You can see a beautiful mine trying to find some headshots with that SKS through that window.
We've got Chinese Taipei finally down on the first floor of their buildings. Look like they might be trying to figure out what's going on and where Turkey's at. But Iroh, this guy can frag the world out right now. He's in a beautiful spot onto it. And are they going to actually be able to encroach up onto this and try to get that res? No. A couple of shots come out from Beautiful Death is going to force it back away. There is that touch of a hillside, but I don't know. This is really, really hazardous to go for. Brexco actually has the angle on this. Might be able to provide a little bit of defense.
All right, we're trying to get this res down here onto Chris. Udyr is up front, trying to protect his teammate. Is Brexico on the other side. A Beautiful Death, though, does get that headshot onto SR and another knock onto Chinese Taipei.
Keep in mind, we are in Circle 9, so everybody is being forced right into the center of this. It's Chris is back up, has some grenades, just trying to get a little bit of revenge onto what happened to him. Beautiful Death steps back. Doesn't have the grenade connect onto him, but slowly and steadily it's Chris moving forward, just trying to get control over the center of the circle. Meanwhile, Turkey is so caught up looking back over towards Chinese Taipei, they want to catch those kills as they leave out. A big grenade coming out from Brexco's gonna take one down though.
And it's Chris is back up and firing. That's a big grenade from It's Chris.
Now Germany looking back over towards Chinese Taipei. They've got the numbers, they've got the angle, but look at those shots coming up. We are in a 2v1 as it's just trying to fight their way out, but there's nowhere to go. The blue is forcing him up inside of it, and Germany takes the last round.
Germany, chicken dinner once again for them. They've had a great finish here today. They've had a really good tournament as well, giving themselves, I believe, that's their third win.
Oh my God, that round was absolutely insane. So many different points. It was just going back and forth. It felt like Korea had a spot, but right at the end of it is whenever they collapsed. They've had a great last 2 days. Today is not the day they needed to have these games.
They tried to stick to their guns, let Pio and Inonix do their thing, but it didn't pay off. Pio gets caught out on his own. Easy flush for the UK onto him, and then it just fell apart from Korea from there. Now we will have to wait and see here to confirm for sure who won, but it looks to be Russia. We're not 100% yet, though.
Yeah, never trust Casterman. Let's be real on that one. We think that's the way it's going to post up. But I got to say, Germany showing up, having a nice game to finish this out. Always feels good to walk away with the victory on top of it. But really, all sights are looking back over towards who's at the top of the leaderboards right now.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see what happened here. But what a performance from the Russian team today, playing absolutely out of their minds. Korea started off hot, but Russia got the momentum and finished things off.
I mean, and that's such an interesting spot to actually have the endings at, is that area around Mansion. There's so much interesting terrain pieces. Again, I think it's the approach that Korea took into that forest that caused them so much trouble.
Yeah, you could see that any team that tried to come out of that forest just got torn apart. Happened to Vietnam eventually when they were forced to do it as well. Between Chinese Taipei and Germany, just ripping them up.
And let's be real, Russia has had an absolutely phenomenal day today. They have shown up whenever it counted the most and just managed to fight their way through so many difficult situations.
Yeah, and on the back of Uba, who, for my money, is the MVP of this tournament, solely based on today almost. He played so well.
Looks like everything's getting set up back down towards the stage where you can see that beautiful trophy that we're probably going to be giving out in just a few moments. Everybody's trying to figure out, doing that last check on the numbers, making sure everything goes through. But let's be honest, this has been a hell of an event. All the teams that showed up to this have absolutely shown off. We've seen so many different plays from so many different countries. Everybody should walk away with some pride.
This was so fun. I mean, we got to see wins from so many different regions. We got to see monster plays all over the place, and it was an action-packed tournament. You get to see the best of the best from across the world in international PUBG, and what a show they put on for us.
I still cannot believe we got into the last round with Korea not walking away with a single round win.
That is mind-boggling to me. I thought maybe in the last round they might have it in the tank. So many top 5 finishes for them, and that's what going into the last day really propelled them to the top of the leaderboard. But the Russians came through. They had a couple big wins themselves and a lot of top 5s and a ton of kills on top of it all. I think they're close to surpassing Korea in total kills for this event. What a wild day.
I mean, Uba is a force to be reckoned with. This guy has just had an absolutely phenomenal day. He's just been murdering his way through everything he came across.
I'm just blown away with his play. And between him and Pio and Anonix and Sapao from Vietnam, let's talk about Vietnam. They showed up in a big way, especially early on, getting that initial game, getting the chicken dinner there. And they played so well this week.
You say that, but I'm still on the Duckman's bandwagon right now. That guy has been absolutely crazy to watch. It seems like he manages to find all of these interesting, he like solo pushes into like 3 people and does not even care.
He's unreal. I mean, I'm curious what's going to happen with him. Will he stay in Thailand? Will another region try to pick him up and bring him over? Because his solo talent alone gets that team tons of points.
Oh, and here we go. Looks like they're starting to get everything set up. Looking over towards what's going to be our top 3. In 3rd place, it is going to be Canada, walking away with 106 points.
This NA team was stacked. They played out of their minds. They had so many wins here. And their 2nd place is Korea. That means, Matchroom, I think we know who's going to be first.
Russia with 127 points. Those last few kills are what got them to the top. Great showing coming out from Russia today.
Congratulations to Russia. They put on a performance for the ages here today, coming from behind and taking that top spot as they head over to hoist the trophy.
I mean, look at this. These guys have played their freaking hearts out today, and it pays off right at the tail end of it. I thought that they were in trouble in that last round. They lost a couple of members really early, somehow managed to find a way to figure out how to continue getting the kills that they needed so much. And listen to that. You even have the Korean crowd showing up and showing the respect to Russia.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to show them that respect. It was all of them today. They played so well. It wasn't just Uba, Seiya, Aduzi, Kemba, all had huge moments as well.
Russia at the top, walking away with the #1 spot from the Nations Cup. These guys have to be so ecstatic. Look at the smiles on the faces.
Yeah, what a great day for them. What a big moment for Russia and for the EU region. They really showed that finally somebody could topple Korea in an international event.
I know. How does it feel to finally be like the rest of us, Paper? Finally, your region doesn't win something.
Feels bad, man. No. Korea played so well. This was an absolute pleasure to watch them. Their best players come out here and strut their stuff and really put themselves even further on the map.
All right, well, guys, let's go ahead and hear from the Winters as we're going to have an interview back down on the stage.